You know, in the world of high-stakes industry, there are these invisible guardians working around the clock to stop a catastrophe from happening. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most important, and honestly, one of the most overlooked heroes of them all.
I mean, really think about that for a second. You've got miles and miles of pipeline, these absolutely massive storage tanks, and they're all just filled with flammable stuff. One tiny spark could be, well, disastrous. So what's the secret sauce that keeps everything safe? Is it some super complex chemical, an advanced AI system? What is it?
The answer is so simple it's almost funny, and it's literally all around us right now. It's nitrogen. Yep, that's right. The most common gas in our atmosphere is the key to preventing some of the biggest industrial accidents you can imagine. Okay, let's get into how this actually works.
So, to really understand why nitrogen is the hero here, we first have to meet the villain of our story. And in the oil and gas world, the basic ingredients for a disaster are pretty much always there. You've got fuel, which is the hydrocarbons, and you've got oxygen, just from the air. When those two get together, they create what's called a flammable atmosphere. Any enclosed space, a pipeline, a processing vessel, a storage tank, can instantly become a ticking time bomb just sitting there waiting for any little source of ignition. And the danger isn't just about the big, flashy explosions. Oxygen causes slower problems, too. Things like corrosion and rust that just eat away at the metal over time. It can create all sorts of hazardous gas mixtures, and it can even lead to these really weird phenomena called pyrophoric reactions, where certain materials can literally just burst into flames on their own, just by being exposed to the air. Wild, right?
So if oxygen is the problem, the solution seems pretty straightforward. You just got to get rid of it. And that, right there, is where our hero nitrogen makes its grand entrance. Its unique chemical properties make it the perfect tool for exactly this job.
Think of these as nitrogen's superpowers. First off, it's inert. That's just a sciencey way of saying it's chemically lazy. It just doesn't react with the hydrocarbons. It's also non-flammable, so it won't burn or help anything else burn. It's super dry, which stops moisture from causing rust. And best of all, it's everywhere, and we can bring it right to the job site.
You've actually seen this concept in action without even realizing it. We've all opened a bag of chips that seems like it's half full of air, right? Well, that's not air. A lot of the time, it's nitrogen. It keeps the chips from getting crushed and stops them from going stale. In a pipeline, nitrogen is doing the exact same thing, just on a much, much bigger scale. It's creating this protective, non-reactive bubble.
But listen, we are not just talking about pumping regular old air into these massive systems. For the most sensitive jobs, the nitrogen that gets used is unbelievably pure. We're talking 99.999% pure. That's to make absolutely sure there's practically zero oxygen or moisture left to cause any trouble.
So, how does our hero actually complete its mission? Well, the whole process is broken down into two critical phases. You've got inerting, and then you've got packing. And together, they create a complete safety shield.
Okay, so first up is inerting. This is the action part of the mission. You pump in tons of nitrogen to physically push all that dangerous oxygen out. Then, once the whole environment is safe and inert, the second phase, packing, begins. That's all about pressurizing the system with nitrogen to keep it that way, making sure no oxygen can sneak back in.
Now, here's a look at how they usually do it. It's a really cool and honestly a pretty simple piece of physics. First, you check to see how much oxygen is inside. Then, you just start pumping in the pure nitrogen. Since nitrogen is a bit lighter than the oxygen-rich air, it literally just pushes the hazardous stuff out through a vent. All the while, technicians are watching the oxygen levels in real time until they drop way down below a safe point, usually less than 8%. And once that oxygen is gone, the system gets sealed up and packed with nitrogen to a very specific pressure. This positive pressure acts like a force field, pretty much guaranteeing that no air can get back inside and that the whole pipeline or vessel is stable and ready to go.
The number of ways this is used is it's huge. Nitrogen isn't just for one little thing. It is a fundamental part of the entire life cycle of our energy infrastructure. Let's look at a few quick examples.
So, before a brand new multi-billion-dollar pipeline can even think about being used, it's filled completely with nitrogen. This purges out all the air and moisture left over from construction, making sure that its very first operation is a safe one.
Think about when a plant has to shut down for maintenance. You've got workers inside doing things like welding and cutting. Nitrogen is pumped in to make 100% sure there is zero risk of a fire or explosion where they're working. This is all about keeping people safe.
Nitrogen can also be the muscle of the operation. It provides clean, safe, powerful pressure to push these inspection tools, which are called pigs, through hundreds of miles of pipeline to make sure everything is in good shape.
And for long-term storage, a continuous low-pressure layer of nitrogen, they call it a blanket, is kept on top of the liquid in a tank. It stops the product from evaporating and, you guessed it, stops oxygen from getting in and messing with it.
So when you add it all up, the impact of using nitrogen is so much bigger than just one single benefit. It really delivers on what you might call a triple bottom line for the whole industry.
It really just breaks down into three huge benefits. Safety is always number one, protecting lives, protecting assets. But it also massively improves reliability by stopping corrosion, which means equipment just lasts longer and works the way it's supposed to. And all of that leads to a huge boost in efficiency, cutting down on that expensive, unplanned downtime that can cost a company millions.
And none of this stuff is done on a whim, by the way. These procedures are highly regulated and have to follow super strict industry standards from organizations like the American Petroleum Institute. Everything is engineered, documented, and done with incredible precision.
And the scale of this work is it's mind-blowing. They have these specialized mobile units, which are basically giant nitrogen factories on wheels. They can show up on site and just start pumping out enormous volumes of nitrogen. We're talking up to 180,000 standard cubic feet per minute at pressures up to 10,000 psi. That's some serious power.
Nitrogen is just a perfect example of a simple, really elegant solution to a massive industrial challenge. It's this invisible force working tirelessly behind the scenes. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What other unsung heroes are out there, quietly and reliably keeping our complex world from falling apart?